And we're live!
Welcome back to the Homework with Friends podcast.
Episode 2.
With your favorite homework pals, Dalton and Logan.
How my favorite classmates doing out there?
Doing all right. I'm not too bad. There's only two of us.
I guess we're the only classmates.
I'm the classmate.
Okay, we have a really weird homeschool situation going on right now.
That's the weirdest thing about it. I'm not doing too bad. You know,
that's good.
Pretty normal week. Pretty general. I did say I saved a little story for you for the podcast, just specifically for this.
For this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I thought we should probably save some stuff from our. We could talk about it too much.
That's good. For those of you who don't know, Dalton and I are roommates. We spend most of our time together.
Yes, we don't have anybody else to hang out with.
Not a ton. Others.
Like, no, we hang out with some other friends. We're not.
We do.
We're
we have a core group.
Bummers, but we have a core group of friends that we hang out with.
But mostly. For the most part, it's us. So usually, I was thinking about that today actually too. It's like I need to not tell you things that cross my mind just so that we can have it for fodder for this. But then sometimes I'm like, well, yeah,
we're sitting here, we're bored.
Yeah. We can't just keep watching docs.
No. But yes. So. It was Sunday night?
Well, real quick, if this is someone's first episode, welcome to the Homework with Friends podcast. This is the podcast where we assign each other homework each week, different topics, and then report back. We are currently in the rapport building. This is the piece where you really fall in love with Dalton and Logan.
Not 100% sure why you would hop in on the second episode. When there's only gonna be 3 episodes out to start. Well, if you hop in real late, why not just listen to the first one? You're being weird.
Who knows? This could be a year from now, and we had a real popular one with a good guest.
But here's the thing: if you're going all the way back to 2, start at 1. Why would you not start at 1 if you're going back that far?
I hope there's one person out there who's starting at 2 feels like a real knucklehead right now.
And I hope that they feel like an idiot when they listen.
Well, one thing they should know, if this is if you are doing this chronologically, we hope that the audio quality sounds better on this.
It should sound better. We introduced a second mic instead of doing 2 mics.
I learned how to do a dual mic setup here on GarageBand, so that's pretty nice.
I guess maybe if we announce that, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna suffer through a 1 mic podcast."
Yeah, no, I feel like you can tell on the first one, but I mean, we're getting into the nuts and bolts.
Whatever.
Anyway, like I said, just if you're new, if you're jumping in right now, this is the rapport building. If you'd like to jump ahead to the homework,
don't.
It's not that long of a podcast.
Yeah, it's not a long podcast. Just listen to us.
But also, that's at about minute 20. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
No, you're good. So yes, Sunday night. For those of you who don't know me or anything about me, I work at a gym. Sometimes I have to work late nights. So Sunday night I'm coming back from work, and the only nice thing about getting off that late is the train's usually empty. So I'm on the Brown line back up towards our place. And there is 2 other people in the car with me, and they're sitting far away. And this guy gets on.
In the whole train car, there's only 2 other people?
Yes, there's only 2 other people. This guy gets on and sits in the seat next to me. I'm not even making this up. I have no idea why he does it. It wasn't like a homeless person that I could tell. He didn't seem to have too much going on.
Meaning there isn't an incentive that he would want to strike up a conversation.
No incentive to strike up a conversation and be like, "Hey, could you help me out?" or anything like that.
Yeah.
Didn't talk to me the whole time. Just got on at the next stop, so that'd be Armitage, and sat right next to me for the whole ride. And I would have felt like an asshole if I got up and moved.
Yeah, like if you scooted aside a seat or whatever.
So I didn't. I just sat next to him.
Just like not to profile anybody, but just like a regular looking person.
Kind of hipstery.
Okay.
White guy.
Okay.
But a little older, like 30, mid-30s.
I sat next to a few hipstery looking older guys today as well. Kind of like have an interesting looking coat.
Yeah, I don't
Good
know. Like
haircut a lot of the times.
maybe
cool glasses.
maybe it was a security thing. Maybe he felt unsafe being on the train
Maybe
that late.
you looked like a strong man.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sit next to this guy because we'll be stronger as a pair."
As a pair, we're strong. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think if you go on a few CTA tips and tricks, maybe that is like on there.
It could be one.
Sit next to the strongest little boy you see.
But yeah, it was so weird.
Yeah, he looks pretty strong.
I just turned my podcast up and didn't pay attention at all.
I want to play out the scenario in that guy's brain real quick. Doors open. Just going down here. You can see a whole train. A little empty train. Oh, who's that? Who's that little boy over there? Who's that little boy? Excuse, sir, is the seat taken?
This is
So, sir, I don't know.
Wait, what?
I see all these other empty seats around you, but I was just wondering if maybe is this seat taken?
Well,
maybe.
Is there somebody in it?
Yeah, like is there someone sitting here right now?
No. Why would they? Why wouldn't they be there?
Well, I just wanted to make sure I was being courteous. I'd like to sit next to you on this empty train.
I don't want you to. There's so many open seats, so many of them.
Yes, but I understand. But I read this thing online that it said to sit next to the strongest boy you've seen. You seem like a very strong boy.
You could sit across from me. I promise to protect you if something happens. Maybe.
I don't trust it. I'd very much like to be able to grab your arm if I get scared.
I don't. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want a headphone?
Actually, yeah. What are you listening to?
Yeah, it's just another podcast.
That's great. I really like podcasts too.
Okay. Well, here we are.
And scene. See,
the
that
whole
could have
thing.
been the whole interaction. You didn't have to be so weird about it.
I guess I didn't, but he didn't ask if the seat was taken. He didn't tell me why he was doing it.
Oh.
He sat right down.
So the scenario is indifferent in that he didn't do any of those things.
Yes. So he just popped the squat right next to me.
That's train living.
That's the train life.
Well, I appreciate you saving that story for the podcast.
Hey, no problem.
I think we all like it. I think we all like that story. I think the listeners are endeared to you a little bit.
I hope you liked it.
And I get Dalton's hot take on public transit.
Public transit, the Chicago Brown Line from Sedgwick to Southport.
I love public transit.
So do I. I love it so much.
Here's a story that might be good.
Okay.
To commit to recording.
All right.
I somewhat need public transit, based on a traumatic experience back in September, August.
Yes, I remember.
Where I had my car stolen.
You did indeed have that happen to you.
And to the listener, not when I was in Chicago, but in a suburb in Ohio, my car got stolen right from my parents' house. So I very much appreciate public transit. I never thought I'd be someone who had his car stolen.
No, especially not in Beaver Creek.
Yeah, Beaver Creek, Ohio is the hometown, if you were wondering. And
a bit shocking.
Yeah.
I was surprised when you told me.
I'm still surprised to this day.
But honestly, the car needed to die.
It was a 97 Honda Civic.
It was running way past its lifetime.
It was. And for those of you out there who are curious, a 97 Honda Civic is as easy to steal as owning a screwdriver is. You just have to break the steering column and just turn it. Turn that ignition.
They could sell them for so cheap because they saved on putting locks on them.
Yeah, and an alarm system.
Yeah. They saved on a lot of stuff to be able to sell it that cheap.
Yeah, it's a popular car. You'll see a lot of them. Google 97 Honda Civic. You'll start to see them everywhere, but 50% are stolen.
50%? Wow. There's like an old Honda Civic parked outside of our apartment right now.
Stolen. Guarantee it.
Probably stolen.
It's the exact model as mine. Sometimes I see it and I get tripped up like, whoop.
Is that my car?
Yeah, we should go outside and read its exact license plate.
Yeah, or steal it.
What's a good homework topic? We haven't beat that to the ground yet. I think we talked about general homework last week.
Homework topic. That's tough. What was your favorite subject in school?
Ooh, that's a good I wonder what my favorite subject in school. I think pretty pretty classically, I always liked those art classes you got to take. For those of you who don't know, I'm a little bit of an artist myself. I like to draw, I like to paint.
I never took in like a formal art class. I took choir for my art class.
Ooh,
for my art credits.
As like your fine art credit or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked choir a lot too. Pretty much anything that wasn't like math or science. I think I did pretty well in math, and I was actually garbage at science classes. Very bad.
Quite the opposite for me.
Really?
Yeah, bad. Like I wasn't terrible at math, but I hated it, and I didn't put any effort into it. But I'm pretty good at science.
Really? I don't know why. I had some like weird mental blocks about science. Remember sophomore or junior year chemistry class, the teacher intentionally sat me next to the two smartest girls in the class, and they told me later that she encouraged them to put their study guides and homework visible and on the side of their desks so I could look off of it.
She was trying to help you cheat?
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, I think I was so apathetic at it. I just like was one of those things where I was like, I don't see the point.
Yeah, I hate studying for things that I don't like. That's what did me in with math. It's just I hated it, and I couldn't bring myself to do the homework or study for it. It's just so boring to me.
It's incredibly
so
boring.
Dumb.
I think math growing up is one of the ones that's the hardest to tell why you're gonna need it.
Because it all just depends on the field you go into. But I think a lot of it revolves around problem solving. Like that's what a lot of it is. But
which is good stuff. I think I learned.
It is. Yeah, it's good stuff. But there's probably better ways. There should be other options to go about learning things like problem solving.
Logic.
Yeah, like logic. I just for me, I just hated it, and it was just like something that made me miserable every time I had to go do it.
I feel like everyone who I've talked to that like really likes math really appreciate the rules of everything. Like they're people who I like that this is done the same way every single way, and once you understand an equation you can kind of unlock everything. And to me, I'm like, let's read Catcher in the Rye again, baby.
But here's the thing, you could do that with so many other things.
Let's learn some other rules, man. If we want rules, let's play a board game.
Yeah, let's play plenty of board games out there that have rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost all of them.
I would say the vast majority.
I think that every board game probably
has some sort of rule. But wait, what class? What'd you like the best?
My favorite subject was history. I just found it always the most fun to learn about. My favorite class I ever took in high school, grade school, everything was public speaking. Okay. Yeah, just dug to speak.
Did they call it forensics, or was it just straight up public speaking?
Why would it be called forensics?
That's what they call debate some places, or I think that's what debate is.
It's called forensics.
Yeah, which is I don't know. This is 1,000,000% wrong, and I can look it up, but I don't want to.
I've never heard of that. But no, it was called public speaking.
No, it's called what it should be called.
It wasn't a debate class at all. Purely giving speeches. There was one debate-ish type speech that we had to do, but it was my favorite class. I had the coolest teacher too. She was awesome.
Ooh, that's a good subject. Coolest teachers. Do you have one that sticks out?
Kind of. I've had a bunch of cool teachers. I never got super close to my teachers. I wasn't one of those students. I always had pretty medium relationships with them. They knew who I was. I could joke around with them, and that was about it.
Knocking on their door after class, going, "I just need your help right now."
No, never.
I just need you to be there for me.
I think I definitely had teachers who liked me a lot more than other teachers did, who got my vibe and understood it. But
they're hanging out in the teachers' lounge, you guys hang out with this Dalton kid?
Yeah,
he's pretty cool.
I definitely had some teachers that didn't get my I'm gonna put in as much effort as I need to.
Got it.
Some of them didn't like it, but other ones were okay, I get what this kid's about. I'm gonna accept it.
I think when teachers can kind of understand, just because you probably weren't a problem student, and you probably weren't dumb by any means, but I think once they understand you have the general aptitude to get it, and they're not pushing too hard to, I guess, like motivate you in the way that maybe some more of those kind of like weenie kids would get motivated. You can kind of just have fun with them in class.
No, that's how it was. And it was like, so I would, like, I'm blanking now. You distracted me by turning the TV off.
Sorry, we had a TV on.
You really threw me off my game by turning it off.
NBA playoffs right now, and it was distracting me having it on.
Oh, it was like calming me having it on. I would look over at it, listen to you, gather my thoughts, and then come back.
Hey, look at that. There's a good shot. Oh, by the way.
But no, so I wasn't like a class clown or anything, but I would joke around in class. And then I would put in the exact amount of effort I would need to get like a B or an A. And I would do it if the A was easy to get, but I didn't, like, I wouldn't go any further than that.
Yeah.
Like, if it was a hard class and I was like, all right, I can get by with a B-, I was getting a B-. I was putting in that effort.
Yeah.
And I had teachers that would be like, oh, I got to motivate this guy. I got to push him to, like, work harder and get the A. And I would just be like, dude, come on. I don't care.
And I think that's, like, based on the grading scale, if a C is average and you have a student who's relatively involved in school, fairly well liked amongst his peers, and like doing sports and stuff like that, you should be happy with getting them in the B's.
Yeah, no, he had a lot going on.
And it's kind of on you if you want to get to the A's.
Yeah, I played 4 sports. I was involved with a lot of like clubs and activities and stuff. I did choir. We always, like, when shows would be coming around, we'd have rehearsals after school and stuff. I was always like doing stuff with my friends, and I worked a lot. Like, I worked for high school a lot, like 25 hours a week, which is a good amount for a high school student. So like, I had stuff going on. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on your homework. I would do the homework for my next class the class before.
Yeah. Listen, teach. I got a life going on.
Yeah, I got so many things happening.
Now, me, I was a practice player on the volleyball team. And I really let that absorb a lot of time. But actually, no, I think I besides science classes, which I'll admit I was like an absolute shithead on, if I looked at my transcripts, I think I did trend a little bit more towards like really striving for A's, if not really high B's. I think I had that pressure all the way up until that self-pressure all the way up until like beginning of senior year, and then second semester senior year I was like, I'm out, I'm done.
No reason to work.
We'll save all those stories for another podcast.
Those are for another day.
Those are long.
So yeah, maybe we should just get into the homework now.
Yeah, I think we're at a good time in the podcast to do that. So if you did not listen to last week / you need a little refresher on the homework, we're going to go ahead and hit the tapes and play it now.
Okay. I found there is indeed a sequel to Holes. There's a sequel to Holes. It's called Small Steps.
Okay.
It's published, I believe, in 2005 or 2006, and it follows Armpit.
How long is it?
I think it's like 250 pages.
That's a breeze.
Yeah. Read Small Steps. Same assignment, essentially. I think this one we might actually need a true summary. I don't know how involved people are with Small Steps.
I don't think they're going to know what it is.
Or the Holes established universe. And then I guess go over some major themes, just your general analysis of the book. It doesn't have to be too structured, and your review.
So your assignment for next week, what I want you to do is design what you think would be the perfect 8-man NBA team, pulling from any player in history. You have to state the player and the year that you want them to be on your team. So, like, an example would be like, I want Jordan from 92 with LeBron from 2006.
Woo!
Yeah, so that's what I'm going for. Perfect 8-man team, 5 starters, 3 on the bench to come in.
Screw it! All right, so that's the homework from last week. Let's dive.
I think maybe you should go first.
Want me to go first this time?
Yeah. Did I go first last time?
I don't really. Yeah, you did, but I don't.
Okay,
No. I went first last time.
So should I go first this time?
I don't really care.
I'll go first this time.
All right, go first.
But I got a lot.
I want to get loose.
Lube it up.
I want to get loose. Let's talk about what we're drinking today. Dalton is going for the Rolling Rock.
I'm going for Rolling Rock, which is on sale at a local Chicago grocery store for $6 for a 12-pack.
Yeah, if you're in the Chicagoland area, check out your local Jewel Osco. You're going to get yourself a deal.
I didn't want to rep something that's not going to pay us for it. You know, I wasn't going to say where it was,
but we'll say Rolling Rock. And I'm currently sipping on Yellowtail Red Cabernet, $4.99 at your local Walgreens.
There you go. All right, so.
All right.
There's you just heard the homework from last week. If you're tuning in, well, you might have skipped over it for some reason. That would be ridiculous.
And just in case that is a little bit longer than we want, we end up not actually playing that tape. Dalton had to read Small Steps, which is the sequel to Holes.
Small Steps, the sequel to Holes, nothing like what you would expect.
Besides the fact Armpit's in it?
Besides the fact that two characters from Holes are in it, there's no connection. So it's going to be a pretty general overview of what happens in the book because there's a lot to cover. So the book follows Armpit, beloved character from Holes.
After just reading Holes, Armpit is such a small character in Holes.
Dude, he is.
It's such a funny choice to have him be the lead in the sequel.
Here's my first question for you with just having read Holes. Do they address why Armpit's called Armpit in Holes?
I believe, and I don't know if this is the movie reminding me, it's because he doesn't like showering, right? He's stinky.
Okay, that's what I thought. This book goes a completely different direction.
Okay.
So Armpit, in this book it addresses Armpit got his name because one night he was sleeping and he got bit in the armpit by I forget, it was like a scorpion or something like that, or like a snake. He got bit on the armpit and starts like freaking out and yelling, "My armpit, my armpit!"
At Camp Green Lake?
Yeah. So it has nothing to do with him sweating or not liking showers.
Yeah.
Like they just they blow that over because I think they addressed that in Holes. I haven't read the book for a while, but they talk about it being because he doesn't like showers.
Yeah.
Same author wrote this book goes, no, that was for fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the movie he's established as a stinky person, but
the
author is who wrote the screenplay of the movie, so.
Yes.
That's
so
canon.
He's a big boy. He does sweat a lot in this book, but he didn't get the name Armpit because he's stinky.
Got it. Yeah, so broad strokes, what's this book about?
Here we go. So, follows Armpit after Camp Green Lake. He's 17 now, 17 or 18. It didn't really quite say, but I know he's end of high school range. After Camp Green Lake, he spends a little bit of time at a halfway house. He meets this person who's like, the only way to not go back is to create these small steps that you have to accomplish. Just these little small steps. Hence the name of the book, Small Steps. His small steps are to graduate from high school, get a job, save money, avoid violence, because that's what got him put in, and lose the name Armpit. That's what he wants more than anything. He wants to go back to Theodore.
Oh, I knew that. I knew his name was Theodore.
He wants to lose the name Armpit. So, here we go into this story. Armpit is working for a landscaping company. What he does is dig. He digs things,
and that's the last connection to Holes.
Yeah, pretty much. He digs. It opens up. He meets the mayor of Austin. She's like, "I've heard about Camp Green Lake. You're a survivor." He goes, "Thanks, ma'am." Comes back. His home life is a little shaky with his parents. It's just those two and him. They make him do like random drug tests all the time, even though he had nothing to do with drugs and he still doesn't do them. They just want him to stay out of trouble. Hey, good parenting, but also just try to focus on the stuff that's the problem.
Kind of like Mom.
Yeah, which is the violence.
Give me a break, Mom.
Yeah, he never did drugs. He didn't get put in for doing
Mom,
drugs.
I don't do drugs. I beat the shit out of people.
Yeah, so focus on that. And then you find out that he's in school. He's in summer school, trying to get his degree. He's in economics and a speech class. He lives next door, or lives in a duplex with his family, and then the other side is a woman and her young daughter who has cerebral palsy. Her name is Ginny, and him and Ginny are super close. And something that I hate in this book, and I hate that when authors do, is when they type out somebody who has a stutter. Like, I can picture it myself. I don't need you to type like 6 M's, like
he's just trying to hit the word count.
Yeah, it makes me so mad. You don't need to type the stutter. We get it. We can imagine it in our head with the words.
True, but young adult reader.
But that's another point of this, is that it's written like a young adult book, but the story is not young adult at all. So it reads super young adult and boring, but the story is actually pretty good. Like, he could have just made like a solid adult novel about this and gotten like a little bit more raw,
a little more poetic with his prose.
Yeah, we're not even close to getting into the story yet. I'm trying to hurry. So you get those ones, you meet them, and then all of a sudden X-Ray comes back.
What?
You find out that X-Ray got put to Camp Green Lake because he was selling oregano and parsley and pretending it was weed to people.
X-Ray's the best.
And his family had to relocate because he was doing that like a con man, and people found out and wanted to kill him.
X-Ray's such a funny little shithead in Halls.
Yeah, but
he's like the worst.
He comes back like an actual weird con man and convinces Armpit to give him his first paycheck. Like, he makes like, with 3 months of working, he somehow only makes like $900. And he's like, all right, Armpit, give me I'm gonna need about $660. We're gonna buy these tickets for this popular singer, and we're gonna scalp him, and I'm gonna make W money. And so the whole time they like going through this, and Armpit finally gives in, and they're at the ticket booth, and even more like a classic like little scammer, like a 1920s con man, Armpit just keeps like changing his mood up. And they're in this line, and they're like, people are getting out, and they're like, oh, the first couple rows are gone, next couple rows are gone, and he keeps getting like, well, the middle seats are really where you want to be because you don't want to be too close, you know. And they keep going through, and they finally,
you don't want to hear the music.
They finally buy like 6 tickets a piece because that's the maximum, and they're like, oh, we're in row M, and he's like, hey, first half of the alphabet, that's exactly where you want to be. That's where people are really gonna be buying at. So they do that. Somehow it starts going well. They're actually selling the tickets. The last 2 tickets come around. Armpit wants to take this girl on a date. She doesn't want to go because she's heard about his past. So he decides to take Ginny. They go to this show to see this popular singer. Her name's Kyra, I think is the way to pronounce it. Kaira.
Okay.
Kyra, right?
Kira,
maybe Kira. I was reading it as Kyra. Paul's right there. We're gonna get into Kyra's story because that's like every other chapter. Like,
oh my god,
there's a lot in this book. So
I would not.
Kyra's a famous gal. She's 17 years old. She still watches Cartoon Network. She's a famous singer. Her mom and her stepdad are the ones who like manage her. She's traveling through with this classic old band that she gets along with kind of well. These grumpy guys who are super into like the Grateful Dead and
road
stuff.
Guys.
Yeah, like road guys that have just somehow fallen into her life. And she just like, I don't know, she's a normal famous gal just living her life. And they're working their way to Texas to do their tour there. At one point, old Louie, the author of both Holes and Small Steps, uses dreamed versus dreamt, which I didn't like at all, which is perfectly acceptable.
He dreamed a new dream.
Yeah, it pissed me off.
Huh.
It's acceptable.
Yeah.
To use. It's the same. Like, it's not a made up word. But
you didn't like it.
Like, be an author. Use dreamt.
Yeah.
You know.
Put a T on it, baby.
Put a T on it. So now we're back to Armpit and Ginny.
Okay.
And turns out that Armpit gave them fake tickets and ended up selling the last 2. And Armpit.
Wait, X-Ray gave him fake
X-Ray gave him fake tickets. Ended up selling the last 2 instead of giving them to him. Gave him fake ones.
So they couldn't get in.
So it just escalates super crazy, and they're just like these security guards are beating the crap out of Armpit.
No.
And Ginny has a seizure because she has cerebral palsy, and she like can't control like when she gets super excited she has a seizure.
Oh my god!
But it ends up getting broken up, and this Kyra gal is so mortified that her fans were treated that way that Armpit ends up meeting her. Like she invites him backstage. They have a little ice cream after the show. They're chatting, and her and Armpit hit it off pretty well.
Like romantically?
Romantically.
What?
They're kind of getting acquainted.
What
with each
about
other.
Jenny?
No, Jenny's like 10. Armpit's like 18.
Oh shit.
Jenny's like Jenny's not involved with that at all.
My bad.
But so Armpit and her are hitting it off,
Mm-hmm.
and she ends up leaving, but they're writing like some letters back and forth, and she invites him to come visit her in San Francisco. So they're kind of falling for each other. A little classic love story.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're in sorry, my notes are scattered all over the place. I was writing like a madman. So we get to San Francisco, and oh no, before that,
Jesus Christ.
Before that, he makes up with X-Ray. X-Ray gives him like a little bit more money than he was supposed to be owed.
Okay.
And he's like, "I'm sorry, man. I'm just trying to make us some money."
I'm a businessman. It seems like it worked out pretty good for you.
These other ticket scalpers come and threaten X-Ray and Armpit.
God.
Because they stepped on their territory, and they blackmail Armpit until like gives them the love letter that this gal wrote to him, this famous gal. And so he's in San Francisco, and he tells her that, and she's like, "Oh, you only want me for my money? Like you're just selling the stuff that I sent to you."
That's
like,
what Kyra says to him.
Yeah.
Oh
and
no!
they get in this argument in a coffee shop. She throws coffee on him.
On Armpit?
On Armpit. She throws coffee on him.
Meanwhile, is the author still calling him Armpit at this point in the book?
Yeah, still calling him Armpit. Still has not switched to Theodore. Never switches to Theodore. Calls him Armpit the whole time.
It was one of his goals. Even the author couldn't give it to him.
So that happens, and Armpit's like, crap, man. And in this time, this creepy stepdad, who at one point in the book says to this 17-year-old girl, with the mom standing right next to him, she's like asking a bunch of questions about the business aspect of her life, and he goes, "Don't worry about it. Keep singing and shaking that sexy little body."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Who was this a commentary on?
I don't know.
Like who was? I mean, like, maybe Hannah Montana was just becoming popular at the time.
But so this stepdad is freaking out because he knows that this girl's gonna turn 18 soon. She'll be able to like handle stuff on her own, and he knows she's gonna fire him.
He fakes her birth certificate.
No, he knows she's gonna fire him when she turns 18. So he decides, I'm gonna murder her and frame this Armpit kid.
Holy fucking! That's small step.
That's small. It's like it goes deep. So he makes this plan. He like shoves a bat into. Like, when
sorry, 1 second. What is small steps?
I'm trying to tell you what I was forced to read.
It was homework. It was a homework with friends.
Terrible homework.
It was bad homework, and I thought it'd be more. I mean, I think it's interesting. I'm actually absolutely captivated right now.
We're not there yet. We're going. So
I know we're going there, but holy shit, I didn't think this was gonna be.
At a certain point, the stepdad meets Armpit, and some weirdly like shoves a bat into him and gets his fingerprints on it. So he's got he's got his fingerprints on this bat, and the stepdad just a little bit later starts beating the piss out of this girl with a bat, about to kill her. And Armpit and
I shouldn't be laughing.
You shouldn't be laughing.
I'm sorry to the listeners. I'm not laughing at this. It's just so ridiculous.
But Armpit and her bodyguard come in, and there's like a huge fight. Like everybody's injured, but they end up stopping the guy.
Okay.
Right before he...
And they see it's him, the stepdad.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's confirmed that Armpit's okay. It, like, reiterates that a bunch. Like, nobody thought it was Armpit the whole time because...
Please,
yes,
Theodore.
The dad's... Nobody thought it was Theodore the whole time because the stepdad's wearing rubber gloves. The bodyguard confirmed that it was him.
Oh, my God.
Everybody was, like, okay with it. Like, he gets questioned a lot, but it's okay. So Armpit finally gets cleared from that. He's like okay with the cops and everything. This girl is in the hospital. The doctor's like, she may never sing again. Stepdad goes to jail. Turns out this gal who was her like, I don't know what she would be considered. She did like all the bookings for their hotels and stuff like that.
Like event manager.
Yeah, was having an affair with her stepdad. Stole all of her money. Got away with it.
Whoa.
They caught her, but they never found the money. So this young gal got all of her money stolen. She got beat half to death. She ended up, she's alive.
Okay.
So Armpit's back. He passes his classes. Things are going all right for him there. He's still cool with X-Ray. And one day he's just hanging out, and he hears guess whose voice on the radio? Old Kyra Kira.
Whoa.
On the radio, singing a song about him.
About
yeah.
Oh, cool.
About Armpit.
And what does it go like? Dig it up on, dig it up
You'd have to look at it in the book. It sounded like a nice song. It read like a nice song at least.
So was poetry.
But he decides in that moment, he's like, I can't be dealing with trying to get her. I got to focus on my small steps. Oh. So he's worried about working his job, now graduating community college because he's done with school.
That's great.
Not getting into any trouble and still trying to lose the name Armpit. So like that's a pretty quick version of the book. There's still a lot that wasn't
I'm
covered.
sure there is, but it ends there.
Yes, and that's how it ends. Okay. Just randomly, he's just like, can't deal with that stuff in my life. You don't get to find out if they end up together. You don't really know what happens to her.
Huh.
She can sing again, but
yeah,
that's about it.
Tell you the truth, hearing that back at me does not need to be the sequel to Holes.
No, it's not a
by
sequel.
Any means.
There's no way you can consider it a sequel.
Does not really need to follow anybody named Armpit.
They do reference Sploosh one time. That's like the biggest connection.
That's
to
for
Holes.
like the real Holes heads out there going like, Sploosh, baby.
Yeah.
But the general plot of it, I like it as like a young adult novel / I'd watch that as a little bit of a movie.
It could have been better.
Not a little bit. The whole movie.
As not a young, because reading that story as a young adult novel was boring. And miserable because like you want so much more. You want like a little bit more exposition. A little bit more like deep thoughts going on. But he wrote it like the same kind of way he wrote
like very
Holes.
A to B. Like he went to the blah blah blah. He saw them do the blah blah blah.
So many unnecessary details.
Yeah.
That like didn't like. There needed to be details that there weren't addressed, and there were details addressed that there didn't need.
One thing I always noticed he did in Holes was he'd be like, he drank the water. He forgot how much he liked water. Yeah. Like stuff like that where it's like, Theodore went to school. He forgot how much he struggled at school. Like,
yeah, man. It was not fun. But I got some major themes here.
Okay.
Loss of childhood's major theme.
Ooh.
Class and race were addressed a lot. And just a general...
Which is similar to Holes.
Yes. And... just a general take on the faults of the justice system. And just like what kids from juvie and people from jail go through after they get out, like the decisions they have to make, like falling back into a life of like scalping tickets like a scammer, and like that's like the very little like very, very mild thing that can happen to you and like you can get involved with.
Well, it's also kind of like your past. Like, there's still going to be people who are going to influence you in a certain way.
Yeah, and X-Ray never changes. He's the same at the very last chapter. They're all like him, like X-Ray, Armpit, and
by
Ginny.
the way, you guys want to go get some new tickets?
Yeah, X-Ray, Armpit, and Ginny are hanging out together, and he is just like still just like goofing around like, I didn't do anything wrong.
I get it. I shouldn't have scalped the tickets.
Yeah. So that was it. My general take on it. great outline for a story.
Yeah.
I like the story. Not a great read if you're over 18. But all in all, it's whatever. It was just like wasn't what I wanted. It was a tough read.
Well, it's not
for
what
me.
you like out of a book.
No, well, because it's not written for me.
No.
But if you're a young kid, if you're for some reason you're a young kid, you end up listening to this podcast. Hey, give it a read. See if you like it.
So one thing we talked about with Holes is it's like a good introductory discussion to stuff like race and class and things like that.
Yeah.
And Holes, I would think, is like, based on your description of Small Steps, like much more whimsical, much more like about like the whole everything happens for a reason kind of thing. Would you say that this is like a good, like,
this is like a deep cut take,
like a better
on that kind of stuff?
If Holes is for 5th grade through 7th grade,
this would be decent. This would be pretty good for high school,
like early high
to
school,
really start thinking about stuff, because that's how old he is in this.
It sounds like early high school. Like as far as like I remember reading books like this in early high school and going like, that.
I think even late high school you'd be fine.
Yeah,
it depends what you like, but I think even late high school, yeah, you dig it all right.
It's just some small steps.
There's just a lot going on, dude.
It seems like it. It seems like things like him hitting it off and falling in love with the singer would never happen.
Yeah, I could not write enough. Like at one point, the girl who's a singer walks out. Like right when you're introduced to her, she walks out and she's like, they weirdly talk about like her unbuttoning her shirt as she walks out of her room, and it's like I definitely think it's meant for young adult readers to be like, oh wow, this gal's unbuttoning her shirt.
It's like, what are you doing?
But then
what are you doing in your room? I'm just reading Small Steps.
Then she walks out, and her bodyguard's like standing there, and he's like, huh? And she's like, come on, bozo. and it goes on this like weird like little like thought in her head where she's like, if I talked to my psychiatrist about this, she'd probably tell me that I did it on purpose because I want attention from my body, but I didn't.
And then her bodyguard's just like, you literally do this every time.
You do this every day.
I told you many times I'm married. It puts me in a very weird spot.
Yeah.
Please stop.
But yeah, you know what? Give it a read if you want to. It wasn't for me. Solid story. I think he was onto something. He should have made it probably more for adults. At least like, you know, like a young 20s type of read.
Young 20s read.
Yeah.
I wonder what the next Holes is going to be.
Yeah, I hope there isn't another one.
The sequel to Holes is going to follow. 0.
That probably would have been better.
Actually, that makes a lot more sense now that I say it out loud.
It makes way more sense than grabbing these arbitrary characters and just putting them into this world.
The next Holes is going to follow Zigzag.
Yeah, or like the weirdo that steals cars.
Yeah, oh, Twitch.
Yeah, like why?
I see him, I just got to take him.
That's actually just Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh, that is actually the third Holes. Well, that's Small Steps.
That's Small Step. That was my homework.
So on to my homework, baby.
I'm ready to go, yeah.
Okay. So my homework, it was to create my all-time top 5, like a starting lineup for NBA team, essentially.
Well, it was supposed to be 8.
Oh, no, top 5. Well, then like my 3 bench players.
Yeah. So I was originally thinking of giving you 12, but I didn't want to like.
That would have overwhelmed.
Yeah, I didn't want to overwhelm you because like normally if you're thinking of like a top team, you pick 12 because you have like a normal 12-man roster.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we need to play some music to drop into homework number 2. Homework number 2 drop right now. All right.
We're back. We're back live. Here we go.
Very much not live.
It's live while we're doing it.
We are alive.
It's live while we're doing it.
So back to the Homework with Friends podcast. This is Logan Lukács talking. On to homework assignment number 2. Woo.
Could continue.
Sorry, shit. Okay, so my assignment was to pick a 5-man starting lineup with 3 men on the bench of NBA all-time players. I had to pick the year in which they played, put some reasonings behind it, and compose basically my kind of dream team.
Dream team.
So for those of you who don't know, this is a challenge for me in that I don't watch/follow a ton of sports.
You don't? No.
I'm a big 30 for 30 guy.
Yeah. Well, that helps.
Yeah.
It gives you some insight.
It did.
Yeah.
And my criteria is somewhat based around that. I'm
So the Celtics and the Lakers from the 80s.
That's the whole team.
Who else has a 30 for 30? And then also Reggie Miller and
No. So you'll be surprised. Not too many. I think everybody.
Has everybody been in a 30 for 30?
I guarantee it, except for one. I think maybe one or two. A couple of my bench players haven't. One of my bench players has a whole 30 for 30 about him, and I'll mention that later. But actually, I don't think it's a 30 for 30. Anyway, so my criteria for this was very naively looking at statistics on Wikipedia pages and I think basketballresources.com.
All right, so you're being a little blog boy looking at statistics.
Oh, dude, I'm a blog boy for sure on this one. I'm looking at MVP years. I'm looking at I'm not looking too much at championship years. I'm looking kind of like a thing I realized I respected the most when I'm looking at the stats and I'm kind of looking at the career of these players is I really like the players when they're really hungry still. So you're going to see a lot of all-stars on this list who maybe I'm not picking them in their championship years, but I'm picking them when they're hungry, when they're putting up numbers and they're really trying to scrap by, because I think that's an interesting concept for a team.
Did you look at anybody, like any famous people, like any like famous like announcers or commentary people or just regular basketball players, like perfect dream teams or anything like that?
I didn't look at too much of that. I didn't dive into that analysis because I know there's a lot out there based on my research.
Yeah, people have done this a lot.
Yeah. This is like a common practice. So I actually wanted to veer away from that a little bit because I kind of wanted to go in naive. Yeah. A lot of my Google researches were like looking at the best power forward, like best power forward in NBA, and I would kind of click through some names and try to go through some lists that way. I listened to a couple podcasts, like the NBA podcast, the Ringer one, just to kind of like get in the headspace for the NBA. I don't think I got anything from that.
Yeah, which one did you listen to?
Just the most recent one.
So just talking about the playoffs?
Yeah, but I wanted to get in that space, baby. And then there was another one, which was the top. I think it was the top most overlooked players who aren't in the Hall of Fame yet.
Okay.
I believe. And I think one has since entered the Hall. The one I liked the most when I went online, it said they're on the Hall of Fame, in the Hall of Fame. So I don't think that one was true.
I'm pretty prepared to tear this team apart.
I think you should. Like, it's not a good. When I look at the team, it's not a good team.
Yeah. Okay.
Because how could it be? Like the thing I was thinking more and more about this one was there's certain people who I think everyone's always going to gravitate towards. There's certain teams everyone's always going to gravitate towards. And when you look about anything in sports, people are so attracted to the stories behind the team. And I think people really just love this debate. Like, people love talking about who would be better against who when.
They do. And we'll see if it happens. But one of the things that I thought you might do with this is just figure out best players and positions and just take a general stance on like players and positions and not factor in like egos, who would play well together, stuff like that.
So I thought about that. I did. And I also thought about years in which that would happen.
Okay.
So that is a part of this. I did look at some of this because every player eventually, there's not really any, there certainly are, but even there's a guy on my list who is very strong for his franchise. In fact, is still the franchise star who ended up leaving his team even. And not even the big one, if you know what I'm talking about.
That could be so many people.
I know, but that's what I mean. That there's a common trend in these like players is egos playing into things. Like there's like a one more season mentality.
Is it Shaq?
Well, that's a great segue to my first pick.
Was that it? Was that right?
No, you're not right.
Oh,
but
shit.
there's, everybody on here has, except I believe one has switched teams from their core franchise team at least once. But okay, so I'm looking at career high averages, I'm looking at gut feelings, and I'm looking at general composition. Those are my 3 criteria that I wrote down.
Okay.
So for our center, we have 2000 Shaquille O'Neal.
2000 Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, from the 1999 to 2000 season.
Yes. Okay.
I have some stats for his rankings. This was the first of his championships.
Mm-hmm.
So first of his 3 consecutive ones with Kobe. Eventually, he ended up taking a year off from Kobe after that, and then he got another championship with the Heat later on.
Yes.
But this is kind of our first championship, Shaquille O'Neal, after being in the league for about 10 years at this point. He was putting up 29.7 points per game at that point. He was MVP of the league there. He was a great big man that season, and a great center, and a great duo with Kobe. And I think he was the kind of guy who helped catalyze that Lakers team. So when I look at Shaq that year, he's one of my few players on my lineup who got a championship in the year in which I picked them.
Okay.
So I view him as kind of one of our guys to rally around.
Yeah.
I view him as a
good team player
and a vet in the league, but also has some good years ahead of him. And that is my 2000 Shaquille O'Neal at center.
Okay.
Some fun facts about Shaquille O'Neal I found fun facts about every player just to spice things
all right,
up.
All right.
He only ever made 1 3-pointer in his entire career.
Not shocking.
But I think the 4th most free throws of any player. And this is a fun fact. Around the same time I picked him, he's a scab.
What do you mean?
There was a union strike on actors or writers in the early thousands, and he showed up for a Disney commercial, and people had a real problem with it.
Oh, wow.
Shaq's a scab.
Look at that.
Shaq also, we could do a whole podcast on Shaq. I found a lot. Like, I was looking at fun facts on people.
Shaquille O'Neal could be a whole topic on his own.
So fun.
So
just so many fun facts.
PhD, police officer,
yeah,
actor,
and a legitimate PhD.
Yeah.
He has an actual...
well, I think, isn't it from, like, University of Phoenix?
Hey, look, man, it's still tough.
It's still, well, no, I'm not downplaying it, but I think it's like an online PhD, right?
True. So it's not Harvard.
I don't think that he like. No, it's not even that. It wasn't. I just don't think that he went like to class every day.
No. And he's not one of those ones who's like, I got my honorary doctorate in letters. I'm gonna go to the next one, an unsurprising pick as well, but I'm gonna go small forward. LeBron James. We're going King James.
At small forward?
At small forward.
Okay.
In 2009, LeBron James.
2009? Isn't that when Shaq played for the Cavs? Or no, he played in, when was it? 2011, 2012 maybe?
Yeah, he played later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm going LeBron James 2009.
Okay.
This is an MVP year for LeBron James.
Yeah.
This was a time when the Cavs had just come off a playoff run. I don't think they had a playoff run this year.
2009. They probably lost to the Celtics.
Yes.
In the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe.
I don't even know if they.
I think
2008 was that, but I could be 100%.
Then maybe they only made it to the finals like one time
while he was there.
And they got swept by the Spurs.
Yeah, but I picked this LeBron James because this is a hungry LeBron James. Mm-hmm. This isn't like
young and hungry.
Yeah, this isn't like very fresh green LeBron James, like that one crazy game where he put up like 50 something points against the Bucks.
What would he be? He would have been like 23, 24.
Yeah,
there?
He's pretty young.
Yeah.
His average points per game back then was 28.4 points per game. He was averaging he was like 37 minutes per game. He was a very defensive player at this time. He was 1.1 blocks per game. I was trying to look at the defense that these guys were putting up.
You're putting up a pretty offensive team right now. You're looking for a team that can outscore anybody right now.
I am.
We're only 2 players in, so I'm not gonna.
Well, it's not gonna get much different. But this is also LeBron who had great stamina. He was playing 81 games. He played 82 games this season. Oh well, no. This was this past season and the season before have been the most games he's played since this year, I believe.
Okay.
They're not. It's not crazy differentials, but he was he's
always
always been really healthy,
like almost every game.
But he was a foundational member of the team, and I think just far enough in his career to not be a rook, and just hungry enough to be a big ass. I mean, this is a year before he left for the Heat. So I like this LeBron. I like this LeBron on this unit. I like this LeBron with Shaq.
Okay.
I like this duo.
Good. Okay. I'm in.
Fun fact. He is the only the second player in history to have won the NBA MVP, Finals MVP, and Olympic gold medal in the same year. The only other player, Michael Jordan.
Of course. Of course it is.
All right, you want my point guard?
Yeah.
All right.
Who's it going to be?
Fuego take.
All right.
1984 Isaiah Thomas.
Not really agreeing with that pick. Isaiah Thomas is great. Like, don't get me wrong.
No. There's a lot of good point guards. There's a lot of great. That's the thing with point guards is there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
I think when you look at like historically great centers, there's like a few that really stick out. But like once you start getting to like forwards and point guards, like there's a lot of really good ones. So this is a gut pick.
That's a gut pick. Here's my thing. Isaiah Thomas is really great.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to the team player and person that Magic was. Nowhere kind of close to like so many people. Like even nowadays, like nowhere close to the shooter that Steph is. Nowhere close to the handles that Kyrie's got. I pick a lot of people. I take AI over him.
AI was high up.
Yeah.
He was high up on the list. I was close.
But if you're talking point guards, dude, I don't think you go anybody but Magic. It's impossible to. He's so good.
Okay, this is
ultimate team player. He gets so hyped for everybody. Is super into like distributing the ball, not an all-around shooter. Like he's great at shooting, but I mean like he's not gonna take every shot that on the court.
Yeah.
And hog from anybody else. He's gonna pass around. Because, I mean, he played with Kareem. Like, they were just, like, a duo just putting up points. It'd be probably just as good with Shaq and LeBron.
You're not wrong. He was a little bit bigger than Isaiah.
I think Isaiah Thomas is a little bit more wanting to be the man on the team. I don't think he knows how to play well with others.
Okay.
As much. And this is, like, very, like, I don't have an expansive basketball knowledge, you know. This is my take on it. Just from watching old games, watching 30 for 30s, like a lot of stuff. But I mean, yeah, I don't know.
So I'm glad you mentioned 30 for 30s. This is why I picked Isaiah Thomas. When you look at that 30 for 30, and if you don't know what we're talking about the bad boys of basketball. It's about the Detroit Pistons in the 80s and early 90s. He was kind of a nice little boy coming into the league. And he got put on this team that adopted this bad boy persona, and he kind of did himself. Here's what I want to do with Isaiah. I want to put him around these great star quality athletes, and I want him to play to their level. I think he was one of the better guys on a team of some real dirt bags, and I think they brought him down a little bit. And I think Isaiah could have got brought up a little bit more.
Yeah, I still don't think he's Magic. I don't
think he's Magic either. And I
probably before Isaiah Thomas, I take Steve Nash. Pure shooter, distributes the ball.
Okay, well let me talk
incredibly
about
well,
can I talk
and
about
works so hard on defense. That's another thing. Like, can
I talk about 84 Isaiah Thomas?
Fine.
Okay,
Sorry.
84 Isaiah Thomas had an 80% field goal ratio.
Okay,
or field goal percentage, meaning that guy is a shooter. He's putting balls up. Points per game.
Yeah, but how many shots was he taking per game?
It's tough to tell. But he was putting up an average of 21.2 points per game.
All right.
Which means he was great. But his assists were at 13.9.
All right.
Which means he's a big team player. So I'm being a blog boy right here, and I'm saying, I look at these numbers, and I'm saying, this is a guy who's going to make LeBron and Shaq look good.
Okay.
He's a fast guy.
But you don't think there's other guys like I'm not better
saying
guys like that? Like
I'm looking at my composition so far.
Steve Nash, Chris Paul. Dude, like
you're talking. Okay, you're talking to the wrong guy about this. I don't know. This is my homework.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to tear you apart.
I knew you were ready for it. Fun fact about Isaiah Thomas. He was very focused on anti-crime issues. Half the beat cops in the not beat cops,
like cops that patrol like beet farms.
Yeah, beet farm cops. He's a big farmer. Half of the beat reporters in the NBA had his number, and he loved talking societal issues after the games.
Hey, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he actually went on to a pretty successful coaching career afterwards. I mean, I like my Isaiah Thomas. I want him on there. He's a great player.
He had like a pretty bad like sexual harassment scandal.
He did. He did. It did settle for several $1 million, and it's very ambiguous as to what happened. Yeah, he claims it did.
I don't know anything about it, so I'm not gonna talk on it. But
it's on there.
I know about it.
We might cut this. Ready for my power forward?
Yeah.
All right. I want 94 Karl Malone.
Hey, that's a respectable pick. Dude.
Yeah, I don't really know. I didn't know much about him.
Yeah.
There really isn't a 30 for 30 out there about him right now that I know of. I think because the Jazz were one of those teams that, especially with Karl Malone, got to the precipice of greatness so often, but really just didn't make it and were overshadowed by some really great franchise teams in the 90s, as well as you got Jordan going on. You got the Lakers coming up at the end of the decade. He's a guy who definitely... I think there's a lot of players right now. I think like Anthony Davis is a similar type player right now who's carrying his own franchise and really has to... He's going to stay with his team. He's a hero for them.
Yeah.
He's going to put up great numbers. He's the kind of guy who's the team doesn't need to make a splash, but he makes a splash. I like him on this team. I think he's going to be a great player. He's a great big man. He's currently a big man coach.
Yeah.
And he's also, I think, could be a good moral center for this team. I think he's a guy who, if LeBron, especially 09 LeBron, gets a little out of line, he can put him in line.
Gotta humble him.
And especially him being closer in age as a 94 Karl Malone, he might be able to really connect with these guys.
Yeah.
He's not going to veteran up on them too much, but he's been in the league for a few years. And also just a very impressive career. 14-time All-Star, the most free throws made in general, the second most points in the NBA history, right behind Kareem, and just a unit for this Utah Jazz team.
Yeah.
I like this Karl Malone. This 94 Karl Malone had 1.5 blocks per game, so I got myself a defensive big man up there. He's
two big men.
He's a power forward you're gonna want. At this stage in the game too, he was still averaging about 25 points per game, which is about his career average. So he's got some years where he was putting up a lot more. He's got some years where he's putting up less. He's got an ill-fated year with the Lakers, actually, right after Shaquille left. But he's the kind of big man I want up there because I think he's going to keep his head in the game.
Yeah, okay.
Karl Malone also had a few funny quotes.
What do you say?
Just hit the guy next to you. Forget the technique. Hit the guy across from you. Don't let anybody come in your space.
Okay, that makes sense in basketball.
People talk about rings. I have 6 rings. They're my wife and kids.
Oh, that's nice.
And this is him talking about Charles Barkley. He kept his Vaseline right inside his navel, and he'd use it in a game.
That's weird.
That's a weird quote.
I don't know what that means.
And not the only Charles Barkley quote we're going to hear today.
All right.
Shooting guard.
Who you picking?
88 Jordan.
88 Jordan. Yeah, that's expected.
Highest points per game. It's a very hungry Jordan. He was still getting 1.6 blocks per game. He's getting 3.2 steals per game, which is a high average for him. This is a scrappy Jordan.
Yeah.
This is a Jordan who wanted that title. It's about 3 years before he's going to get one.
88. So is that the year that they played the Lakers in the finals, or did they not even make it past the Celtics that year?
I don't think they did. I think this is like...
You don't want it in a more experienced Jordan?
Well, so...
You don't want a Jordan after a championship?
When I thought about this team, there's only one player who this season is going to win a championship. No one on my team has a championship under their belt.
Okay.
I wanted a team. You know what I mean? I wanted a team that's going to get that first championship together.
Okay.
I'm going to
save all comments for afterwards.
Yes,
Keep going.
And I thought that sounded...
thing.
I thought that was an interesting concept to me.
Yeah.
I think there's sometimes a stigma around people who go to a team that's already winning championships. Look at KD going to Golden State. I think that building a team around promising players who are going to win championships was interesting when I was building this.
Yeah.
And looking at guys at their hungriest. Now, one thing I think about these guys all putting up some of their most record numbers in the seasons in which I picked them before they won championships might be negating each other quite a bit on the court, which is a definite flaw. I think that we have these players who would most likely, in no reasonable circumstance, ever be together. Especially at these stages.
But it's all like any scenario like this it's a dream roster. They're all from different decades. They're from different times.
Yes, a lot of them, and all at different times. And these, so I think I tried to pick them based on when it would be somewhat reasonable for them to almost be traded to each other on weird whims.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this unit would do together, all together, but I think they'd play a hell of a game of pickup.
Probably. I mean, yeah. Continue.
And
I'll discuss my opinion of your roster.
I think there's some egos in the mix. I think one thing I didn't like about picking Jordan was that I think he's the obvious pick. He's one of the more obvious picks.
Oh, absolutely. You don't. There's no way to make a dream team and not pick Jordan.
Yeah, so I had to pick him, and also not a lot of fun facts about Jordan.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows of one, but here's a funny quote I found that he said about Charles Barkley.
Okay.
Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate the fat fuck.
That's pretty funny.
So that's my starting five, and I'll very quickly go over my bench three.
Okay.
All right. Bench three, we got. I want 2011 to 2012 Dwayne Wade, just to have LeBron to have somebody to play around with.
Yeah, he's a great. No, he's one of the top 4 people in his position. Top 5 people.
He
probably.
is, and I think if we got some chemistry problems out there, we're throwing Dwayne in there, and him and LBJ are gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
Center on the bench, I got 1956 Neil Johnston.
God damn it, dude. Continue.
Boy was 6'8", 210 pounds. Was the 1956 NBA champ for the Philly Warriors. His nickname was Ol' Hoss.
All right, I can see why you picked him. Continue. Who's your third?
And then, I think we all know this one. It's 2012 Jeremy Lin.
Jeez, dude. It seems like you were just started joking at some point.
I started joking at my benchers.
Okay.
I think Dwayne is the best on the bench.
No, Dwayne can make sense on the bench.
I think Neil Johnston, to me, when I was doing some deep research, primarily on the podcast of people who the Hall of Fame forgot, sounded great to me.
Okay.
Old
well, here's what I have to say.
Linsanity.
You created this team. It's pretty solid.
Yes.
But for center, Shaq's good, but you didn't pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Bill Walton, the 2 greatest centers of all time.
I want Shaq.
Why would you want Shaq? Why?
He's got the star quality, baby. I like that Shaq. He's a more interesting cat. To me.
In one of the biggest things with your team would have varying success depending on when they were playing.
Okay.
So picking the decade in which they were playing would be interesting, but you have a big team.
Mm-hmm.
And transitioning into this decade, like this style of play that we have going on right now, people would be raining threes on them all day, because it's all about fastball now.
That's why Isaiah is there, baby.
Yeah, he's not that fast. He's not as fast as. So I think that would be a hard thing for them to overcome. All around, I'm impressed with your research and your take on it. It's everybody's opinion, because these things can't really happen.
True.
But the bench, ridiculous.
The bench is not ridiculous. You don't know about Neil Johnston.
I promise you that if he's not better than Kareem or Bill Walton. I 100% promise you.
You gotta think about the composition, baby. You know why I picked him? I wanted a boy from the old days in there. I wanted an ABA guy.
But overall, I'm not saying you developed the greatest team.
I don't think so.
You didn't have Magic. You didn't have Larry Bird.
Kareem.
No Bill Walton.
Literally, you know what you just picked? You just picked my 3, and I hope I get some bonus points for this. I had notable exceptions on my notes.
No, they should not. You shouldn't get. You're not going to get bonus points for them being your notable exceptions because they should be automatic picks.
But those are my 3 notable exceptions. It was Magic, Bird, and Kareem. Those are my 3 that I was like, I know these are the expected ones. I was going for that wow factor, baby.
All right.
I'm trying to do the unexpected.
I think that
you know what I did? I misused my bench.
You misused your bench
for
way
entertainment
too much.
Quality.
Yeah, you did go.
I was
you
trying
went,
to be funny.
You went funny quality, and it wasn't. It was funny.
It didn't land.
But it might land with the people listening.
If you're out there and it landed, let us know.
But it didn't land in here.
Okay, well that is homework assignment number 2.
I guess we got to give grades.
We got to give grades.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do a quick refresher for the audience. If you don't remember the grades are going to be 25% effort, which is primarily just the fact of doing it. 25% quality, which is the quality of thought and the excellence put forward in the assignment. 25% accuracy, which is how correct the person was in doing it. And if you know anything that is contrary to what they say, that is really the only way you can negate points for that. And then the real true make or break thing that takes you from a C to an A+ is the whoa factor. And did the person say anything that gave you additional insight or something you hadn't thought about before? What really wowed you about the assignment? So we're going to get into grades right now.
All right. So do I read it first? Who read it first last time? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I think it was you. I think I'll read first this time.
Okay.
All right.
No. I went first.
Did
no,
you?
No, you went first last time.
I went first.
No. So you want to go first again?
I don't know.
You're the head of the class.
I am the head of the class, so maybe I start.
Yeah.
I start because I'm the head of the class.
We did not address this at all. We should think of rights for the head of the class.
We'll figure it out as time goes. It's episode 2. Get over it, people. All right. So, effort. I clocked you at 25 out of 25. Woo! You did the assignment.
Thank you.
I know you did it last minute, but
yeah,
that's okay. You did it.
Still did it. Yeah.
Whoa factor. 25 out of 25. You gave me some. I was shocked by your roster for sure. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shocking. You hit us with some good facts.
Nice.
Yeah, they didn't know. Quality. 20 out of 25.
Okay.
20 out of 25. I think that you could have done better with some more research.
I could have. Yeah, certainly could have.
Accuracy. I'm going 15 out of 25. You had 3 solid choices. I think that most people would consider it a solid 3 choices out of a possible 8.
3 solid choices?
I think, 3 solid choices.
Who?
Jordan. An argument can be made for Shaq and then LeBron.
What about Karl Malone?
Karl Malone's all right, but there's better picks, I think. So yeah, that 85 out of 100. That's not bad at all. 85 out of 100 is good.
Oh, this leads us to an interesting predicament.
Uh-oh.
I think you might know your grade.
Break it down for me.
Effort. There's no way you didn't read this book. You did it. You nailed it. That's a 25% on effort.
Thank you.
Quality. You read the book. We got a hell of a summary out of it. I'm getting you a 25 out of 25. Okay. Accuracy. I can't contest it. I haven't read this book. Sounds about right. That's another 25 out of 25. You're sitting at 75.
Boom.
Here's where we get to it. Whoa factor.
All right.
Now, there's 2 moments where I got woed in this.
Yes.
I got woed at just the fact that this book exists and it has the plot that it does.
Right, okay.
And then I'm giving you some additional woes for just like the insights you put into it, and the connections back to holes. But that only got me to 10 on the woe.
Okay.
Which isn't bad.
No,
but I think it was tough.
Books are hard because it's all premeditated.
Yeah,
stories.
It was tough, and it's hard with having to give the summary. We're gonna have to look at book reports in the future.
Yeah, they're tough.
But that gets you right at 85.
Right at 85. Oh, this is quite. We did not discuss this possibility.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's extra credit.
Extra credit?
What's extra? I don't mean not that we have to do it right now.
I guess we roll into next week with a tie.
Roll into next week with a tie.
We're gonna have to probably we'll sit down and discuss the
what happens in a tie.
Yeah, what happens in this particular outcome.
Well, how about this?
We weren't. I don't think either of us was expecting this.
How about this? Edit point right now, but we're still rolling.
Okay.
What should we do if we got the same score?
Damn, dude.
You know what we should have?
Maybe.
Oh, sorry. You seem more excited about your idea.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
Pull a random Trivial Pursuit card.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Was it?
Yeah. I was thinking have like a trivia question on deck.
Yeah, and then we both have to say an answer.
Yeah.
And we see what happens.
Okay, I'm into that, and we can actually do it right now.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay, catching back in, just in case we need a good edit point, we've decided what to do. I'm going to get, since you just put the mic on the couch. Okay. All right, so we have decided what to do. We are going to pull a Trivial Pursuit card at random. In the previous head of the class, we'll get to pick the topic, and we'll get to give the first answer on the question. The runner-up will give their answer, and whoever wins is the new head of the class.
Okay, I get my pick. I'm going to go sports.
Okay.
So, here we go. Go ahead and read the question. Question is, what new kind of shot did pro basketballer Joe Fulks score a record 63 points within one game in 1949? I'm going to say 63 points. I'm going to say the alley-oop.
Kind of new shot?
Yeah, I'm going to say the alley-oop.
I'm going to say the granny shot.
The granny shot?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got here. The answer
The
is
jump
the
shot.
jump shot. No one had taken a jump shot
No one got
until 1949.
You guys know we can do this in the air, right?
You guys know we can jump and do this?
How'd he get so good so quick?
That blows my mind.
All right, well, you know what? Full transparency, we cut another question so we could do this question, but we're keeping this one in.
We're keeping this one in. We didn't get either of them right, so that's fine.
Whatever.
We're ending this one in a tie.
And
that's all right. Ties happen. We're just like hockey. Ties happen.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. Dalton remains head of the class, so let's play that music for him. And it looks like Logan stays the dunce.
What a fucking idiot.
All right. All right, now on to the last part of the show and an exciting part of the show.
All right. Yeah. I'll get my notes.
Homework assignments.
All right. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I got my homework.
You got your homework? Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, you ready?
Yeah, I guess I'll write it down afterwards.
Okay, so I was thinking about different topics of school and stuff like that, and one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and we talked about it earlier, music class, choir.
Choir?
Yeah.
Okay.
So your homework for next week is, I want you to write a song, baby.
I have to write a song?
Yep.
Oh, that is miserable. I'm going to hate every
I
second
want
of
you to
that.
write a song, and I'll give you a format right now, and I can give it to you written down again later.
Okay.
But basically just verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus.
Got it. Okay.
Okay?
Any type of song?
Any type of song.
Okay.
Can be country, can be pop, it can be pop country, Those are the 3 genres.
Those are the only 3 genres.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be like ready to go.
Yeah.
But it could be fun if it's written. If you give me an idea of how you want it to sound, I can pull out the guitar. We can play along with it.
Okay.
I think we can have some fun with this.
Yes, okay.
And basically, your homework will be more talking about the songwriting process. I want you to describe your song and some of the challenges that came with songwriting, and we'll just dive right into it.
Okay. Mine is probably just as general. You're going to have to make your own thing of it. I want you to teach me about vodka.
Oh.
History.
Yeah.
Types.
Okay.
Maybe like how big the industry is now, how much it's grown, how it's made. If you have the time and the inclination, try some. Tell me your favorite types. Just anything you want to teach me.
Okay.
I want to learn about it. I want to know about vodka.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah, this is your homework.
Okay, so the listeners out there, if you're following along, homework for next week, write a song.
And vodka.
Okay, and that does it for the Homework with Friends podcast. We thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, guys.
And what did we say last time?
Well, see you next week.
Don't be late!
School's out, baby!
School's out! I like that one. And guess what? School's out, baby!